In a place where life is decided by a single moment, not everyone accepts the fate of prey. There are creatures that carry a weapon revealed only when death draws close enough. And there are those that need not turn to fight, only to vanish before their opponent can reach them. Because in this world, the most fearsome prey is the one that makes the hunter ask itself, is it worth going on? The sun has slanted toward evening, casting a golden hue over the still water. Around the bank, hoof prints overlap one another, recording the traces of countless who have passed by. After many hours under the harsh sun, thirst has drawn strangers to the same spot. The small waterhole suddenly becomes a meeting place for a whole region of grassland. Giraffes, warthogs, kudu, and even buffalo make their way here one after another. Species that would never normally stand side by side now bow their heads together at a single water's edge. The bank grows more crowded, but the air still holds a stillness all its own. Each head bows down, then lifts again, searching for movements all around. Then from the west, the grass stirs faintly in a rhythm quite unlike the usual. No figure has yet come into clear view, but those near the bank have begun to sense it. The kudu quietly withdraw into the brush, while the warthogs leave the water's edge entirely. Only the buffalo herd remains, and they merely drift gradually farther from the bank. A shape of dark gold breaks away from the grass to the west. Without the slightest haste, it simply walks toward the bank, as though that whole stretch of ground were already under its control. A lioness weighing over 130 kilos. She bows to drink a few gulps, then lies down fully in the shade of an acacia by the bank and sweeps her eyes once around the waterhole. But she has not come here to rest. From morning until now, she has passed through 3 patches of grass without bringing anything down, and the sun is sinking very fast. About half a kilometer off, in a sheltered thicket, 2 cubs lie waiting for her return. It has been 3 days, and not once have they nursed to their fill. This is the last waterhole on the way home, and the sky is about to darken. For a lioness like her, this evening does not allow her to return empty-handed. At the edge of the waterhole, a warthog has returned to drink. It weighs over 70 kilos, and for the 2 waiting mouths, that much is just enough. The lioness leaves the tree's shade, keeping to the low grass along the bank. The warthog has its head bowed, and the nearest den is 20 meters from where it stands. She crawls low through each clump of grass, so slowly she makes almost no sound at all. The distance shrinks to 18 meters, 16, 14. Then the warthog's 2 round ears prick faintly up. It has seen nothing yet, but something in the air has just made its whole body go rigid. The lioness lunges out at once. The warthog turns tail and flees, and both rush in the same direction toward the red earth den right at the edge of the grass. 14 meters for the lioness is less than 2 seconds. But the warthog got half a beat's head start, and that half beat decides everything. She reaches the den's mouth just as the warthog slips fully inside. Half a second slower, and this evening would have ended right here. The lioness lowers herself and thrusts her head into the den. Her shoulder catches on the outside, while ahead is only a cramped darkness where nothing can be seen. In that darkness, 2 curved tusks have already turned toward the den's mouth. As she edges in just a little further, the tusks spring up, slashing a line across her face. She stands up, a long streak running across the bridge of her nose. The last light of day lies low over the grassland, drawing her shadow long behind her. Around the waterhole now remains only one animal large enough. The male giraffe still stands at the bank's edge, over 5 meters tall and not deigning to stir. She looks at the giraffe before her. Hunger still drives her forward, though this prey is larger and harder to approach than any other choice around the waterhole. Then she keeps to the grass along the bank, lowering her body step by step. Up above, that long neck leisurely bows down to the water, then lifts again. She waits for exactly the moment that neck is at its lowest before bursting from the grass. The distance between the two at that instant is only a few meters. She lunges out and manages to grip the giraffe's hind leg. Her fangs sink into the tendon just below the knee, for that is the only spot she can reach. The giraffe pours its strength into its hind legs and lashes out a backward kick. The broad hoof sweeps down, striking the shoulder of the lioness clinging behind. She struggles up, but her right shoulder has sagged entirely. She takes a step, then another, each lift of the leg dragging her body askew to one side. She drags herself to the acacia's shade and lies down. The last light of day slides low over the grassland, while the hunter's belly is still entirely empty. More than 100 meters off, the herd of Cape buffalo has stood all afternoon on the same patch of grass. They saw everything, and now the whole herd begins to advance. The lead bull weighs over 800 kilos, its head lowered and its horns aimed straight ahead. Behind it are 100 other pairs of horns, all pointing the same way. The lioness is in no hurry. In her whole life, she has never had to run from any creature that eats only grass on the plain. The way home to her cubs runs past the buffalo herd. She simply walks across there, about 30 meters from their front rank, without deigning to look. Then the whole herd suddenly charges. There is no sound to warn her, only over 100 bodies springing up at once and rushing in the very same direction. The lioness starts and wheels sharply around. In this whole afternoon, this is the first time she herself is the one who must react rather than the one who strikes. Behind her, the ground shakes beneath the feet of 100 animals. The distance is 30 meters, then 25, then shrinking to 20. The lead bull's horns have come within reach. A single stumble, and this evening would end right here on this open patch of grass. She cuts sharply to the right and slips into a thicket at the edge of the field. The buffalo herd cannot change course in time. They stop there, then turn back toward the waterhole. Night has fully fallen as she drags her final steps through the grass, still half a kilometer from her 2 cubs. And behind her, the first whoop has just rung out. This noon, a herd of Thompson's gazelle graze idly, tails flicking at flies. The plain, silent as glass. 100 meters off, several round heads lie low in the grass, eyes locked on the herd. They are not lions, but bear black lines from eye to muzzle like the tracks of dried tears, the mark of the fastest runner. This is July, a coalition of brother cheetahs from the same mother. The leader, named Sabi, presses himself low and slips through the grass, while the others spread to either side. They form no circle, only wait to cut off the angles for when the panicked prey breaks and bolts. All at once, Sabi bursts out like a bolt of lightning, hitting 100 kilometers an hour in just seconds. His forepaw hooks the prey down, his jaws lock onto the throat. The prey goes limp. The whole coalition lies collapsed beside the carcass, chests heaving fast, for that sprint has burned away all their energy. Their bodies need a few minutes to cool before they can eat. The moment they recover, the group gulps down their meal in haste, glancing in every direction. No big cat has its prey stolen as often as the cheetah, so for them, to eat fast is to eat it all. Bellies full, they settle side by side on a mound, tongues gliding over a companion's ears. For cheetahs, those grooming licks are the very glue that binds the band of brothers. When finished, Sabi pauses by an acacia trunk, leaving a streak of urine to declare his claim. The others scatter too, sending their own scent marks into each bush and small mound at the edge of the territory. Patrol done, they lie back on a high rise, casting their eyes across the grassland. To the south, gazelle are grazing. To the east, impala flit in and out, all within a territory of a few square kilometers. Toward evening, the wind shifts, and the leader snorts in alarm. A strange scent, not gazelle, not hyena, but heavier, sharper, more menacing. It's a lion. The whole group springs up, looking into the wind. At the edge of the tall grass to the west, a golden shape looms closer. The steps too light, the body too slender. A lioness, sure enough. She walks alone, worn and weary, her frame far outmatching any single cheetah. After days of failed hunts, her hollow belly drives her toward wherever the prey is thickest. The uninvited guest calmly sets foot in the hunting ground, not bothering to hide. She crosses the grassland, sending the whole herd of gazelle jerking their heads up and backing away in fright. On the high rise, the cheetahs watch helplessly as their familiar prey scatters. That stranger hasn't so much as lifted a claw, merely passed through, yet her pungent scent alone has been enough to sweep away all their prey. In the middle of the hunting ground, she lowers her body to stalk, eyes fixed on the impala. The lioness is a pride's main hunting force, and now her empty belly only fans her resolve into flame. The whole coalition glares, watching the intruder hunt in the heart of their own territory. Sabi flattens his ears, eyes narrowing. His younger brothers press closer to him than usual, silent as glass. A few powerful strides bring her right up to the impala. She slams her massive body down to pin the prey to the ground, then clamps its throat tight. The cry chokes off, and the raw stench of blood spreads, sending the gazelle to the south into panic, retreating a few stretches farther. The whole hunting ground grows sparser, all because of one scent. She eats at her leisure, not glancing about like the cheetahs, for she is the strongest one here. But a single lone impala is nothing to a belly gone hollow after so many days lost from the pride. She lies right there beside the pile of bones. For a strong loner with nowhere to shelter, wherever the prey is plentiful is a place worth lingering a little longer. As the sun slants low, the whole area is empty of prey, for the lion's scent now lingers everywhere. The gazelle have withdrawn far off. The impala have melted into the grass. Before the coalition, the grassland lies bare, not a shadow of prey. The cheetahs lie in wait a stretch from the intruder, swallowing hard as they watch her sleep. The morning was peaceful, yet by evening an outsider has seized their patch of hunting ground. Sabi exchanges a glance with his two comrades, a silent agreement. The morning's contentment has vanished, giving way to frustration. When the source of their survival is threatened, even the cautious turn reckless. Then the leader springs up and moves toward the sleeping stranger. No haste, just a steady pace across the grass. His comrades fall in behind, each on a different heading, 10 meters apart. Hearing the footsteps, she lifts her head to see the cheetahs closing in from all sides. She stays lying down, used to cheetahs avoiding confrontation, but it is strange to see them advance of their own accord. She heaves up, snarling, a low sound rolling across the plain. The roar that once cowed every hunter now means nothing, for the cheetahs keep circling, always beyond her reach. In a flash, the leader darts across right in front of her muzzle, then swerves sharply aside. The lioness's claws swing out and strike only empty air. A powerful swipe, but slower than the cheetah's turn. From behind, a comrade rushes in, then vanishes the instant the stranger wheels around. A moment later, another appears at her opposite flank, sending her spinning in circles, bewildered. Turning this way and that, the lioness grows more exhausted, while the cheetah band has yet to tire. That massive mass of muscle shifts direction heavily, while the light ones keep toying with her at ease. Furious, she chases the leader, but within a few steps, she flags as he cuts away and pulls far ahead. The moment she turns, two comrades close in, harassing her without pause. She twists to bite, misses, and roars, then lunges again only to snap at empty air. Over 100 kilos of muscle become useless, for the cheetahs slip away before her claws can reach. Panting hard, the beast halts and watches the group circle without rest. She realizes that to stay is only to be harassed endlessly, striking forever without landing a blow. She turns to leave. But then, after a brief moment, the beast suddenly wheels back around, hurling one final lunge with all her strength. Her target is the leader, the cheetah, just a beat slow to react. At that very instant, the whole band pounces in together. One flashes across before her muzzle as a lure. Another strikes from behind her back, leaving the lioness spinning too fast to find her bearings. At last she stops dead, gasping and spent. Before her, the cheetah band still patiently toys with her. The fight has cost far too much strength for no reward. Quietly, she gives up. This time, she leaves for good, her steps far more hurried, not bothering to look back. Behind her, the coalition holds its formation until the beast disappears entirely. The whole band nestles close to Savvy, tongues brushing gently over the bleeding wound. For cheetahs, grooming one another is a bond of affection that has run deep since birth. On the wind, the intruder's scent slowly fades. To the south, the gazelle warily return to their familiar grass as the lion's smell dissolves. The prey comes back, and with it, peace. Before long, another gazelle drops right on the same patch of grass as before. This time, no lion's scent lingers to spoil the group's meal. The July brothers gather around the carcass, body against body, beneath the setting sun. For them, to eat on their own territory is worth far more than a wound along the flank. At the western edge where the lioness slipped away, that scent has not yet faded. She has learned this place holds plenty of prey, and the land is good. She will not forget this rich hunting ground. Seen from above, Komodo Island appears as a strip of dry brown land amid blue water, where cracked rock and scorched yellow grass shimmer under midday heat waves. Beneath low scrub, a Komodo dragon nearly 3 meters long lies with gray-black scales reflecting the sun, eyes half closed, but a body that has never truly rested. The Komodo's hunt begins with an extraordinary sense of smell, its forked tongue continuously sampling the air and building a scent map across the roof of its mouth. This morning, the Komodo follows a scent trail through dry brush, stepping slowly and evenly toward a Timor deer grazing in an open clearing. When the distance narrows to just a few meters, the Komodo presses itself flat, nearly 3 meters of camouflage against brown rock, while the deer raises its head and looks the other way, unaware of the danger closing in. Then the giant lizard suddenly lunges, clamping onto the prey's hind leg, its serrated teeth tearing through flesh and driving saliva, containing tissue-destroying proteins and anticoagulants deep into the wound. The deer wrenches free and limps away, while the Komodo simply stands and waits as the compounds in its saliva begin to impair the wound's ability to clot effectively. The Komodo slowly follows the scent trail of blood across hot rock and dry grass, because its hunt is measured not in minutes, but in hours. 2 hours later, the deer moves more slowly, its legs swollen and red, its eyes glazed. The bite wound is inflamed by unclotting blood, the body steadily drained of strength under the midday sun. The Komodo steps gradually closer to the exhausted prey as the swollen red legs can no longer carry it away from the gray shadow pressing ever nearer. Serrated teeth clamp deep into the injured leg, tearing through soft tissue until the deer convulses a few final times and goes still beneath the blazing sun. The Komodo begins tearing into the softest section of the belly, swallowing large chunks of flesh as the scent of fresh blood quickly spreads far on the hot wind radiating across the island. And that scent does not only draw other Komodo dragons. From the scrub not far away, a long dark brown body glides slowly through dry leaves, moving toward the deer carcass. A spitting cobra, nearly 2 meters long, gradually raises the front of its body in response to the unfamiliar creature appearing in its territory. The Komodo immediately stops feeding, its tongue flickering continuously to read the scent, then slowly turns its head and advances toward the snake rearing up on the hot ground. The cobra spreads its hood wide and issues a threat display. The Komodo shifts its angle of approach, avoiding driving straight at the opponent's most dangerous section. The cobra strikes, but its fangs cannot penetrate the thick neck scales. The instant the snake's body is fully extended, the Komodo clamps onto the midsection. The snake coils back up around the Komodo's neck. The giant lizard shakes violently and repeatedly to break the grip before the snake can tighten its hold further. On the most forceful lunge, the cobra's head slams against the hard rock surface, causing the coil to loosen, giving the Komodo the opening it needs to take full control. The snake weakens rapidly. The Komodo begins stretching its throat wide, gradually pulling the prey's body downward. On this arid island, no piece of flesh goes to waste. It settles to rest, eyes closed with a stretched belly full. But on this island, being full does not mean being safe. On Komodo Island, the venom lies in the saliva. But in the tropical forest on the other side of the Pacific, there is a creature that carries its weapon directly in its fangs, and it is no larger than a human hand. In the tropical forests of Brazil, a wandering spider covered in brown hair moves slowly across a layer of fallen leaves, heading toward a small lizard clinging beside a tree root. The lizard detects the danger and immediately flees across the damp forest floor. But the eight-legged spider accelerates and maintains close pursuit even as the prey changes direction. When the distance is close enough, the spider rears up its front body and lunges forward, its fangs driving into the prey and rapidly delivering venom into the body. The venom spreads quickly, causing the lizard to convulse violently for a few seconds before all muscles seize and it goes still on the damp fallen leaves. The spider does not chew its prey. It secretes digestive enzymes to break down soft tissue into liquid form, then draws the nutrients back into its body through its curved fangs. Leaving the dried carcass on the leaf litter, it continues roaming through the forest with fangs always ready for the next hunt, requiring no fixed shelter. But venom does not only exist in tropical forests or on hot islands. Even in the most arid places on the planet, creatures carry an extremely potent chemical weapon. In the semi-desert of the Middle East, a death stalker lies beneath a hot rock with its curved tail poised. A scorpion that possesses one of the most powerful venoms in the world. When the ground cools slightly, the scorpion slowly crawls out, using the extraordinarily sensitive sensory hairs across its body to read the vibrations traveling through the sand. A cricket stands motionless on dry ground, and from the barely perceptible vibrations transmitted through the earth, the death stalker has already rotated its body toward the exact direction of the prey. The stinger drives down at extreme speed before the cricket can react, the venom taking effect immediately. The prey seizes and goes still on the hot sand. Just about 7 centimeters long, the deathstalker scorpion still possesses extremely potent venom, demonstrating that small size does not equal low danger. It quickly consumes the prey, then continues moving across the dry sand with its tail always raised and ready. Each different environment produces different hunting strategies, where saliva, venomous fangs, or a stinger each become a survival tool for the predator. The Brazilian wandering spider with its prey, fangs delivering venom, mouth secreting digestive enzymes. While the deathstalker needs only one highly concentrated drop of venom to bring down prey many times its own size. Different strategies, but all built on the same foundation, venom, refined by evolution to suit each specific habitat and hunting style. On the island, the Komodo lies in the rock's shadow with a stretched belly full and will not feed again for many weeks. But the tongue still collects scent samples from the wind. In the tropical forests of Brazil and across the arid land, other hunters have also returned to a state of waiting. A single small vibration is all it takes to trigger the next hunt. Ants carry the carcasses away, and the bodies brought down by venom will continue to nourish the soil. The soil will nourish the grass will nourish the deer, and the deer will nourish the Komodo. But even predators were once prey. On Komodo Island, young Komodo dragons often climb trees to avoid adult individuals that hunt their own kind. On Komodo Island, another Timor deer steps across the very same clearing. And not far ahead, a hunter's eyes have already locked onto its every footfall. Wind sweeps across different territories, carrying away footprints and bloodstains. But the bones left behind are still signals that predators read in their own way. Venom carriers leave no traces. They leave only the empty space where the prey once stood and the silence that arrives too quickly in the wild. The sun still pours down on hot ground. The forest still holds its moisture, and the arid lands still burn. Somewhere close to the surface, another hunt is quietly beginning. A small vibration travels through sand, dry leaf, or bare earth, and somewhere on this planet, a creature has just entered a predator's range without knowing it. Midday sun blankets the plains. Heat makes the air shimmer slightly. No breeze, no cloud shadows, only silence stretching to the horizon. Amid the grassland, a zebra herd grazes, occasionally raising heads vigilantly, then lowering again. Peace here is always the most suspicious signal. Not far away, amid this uniform yellow grass sea, an anomalous form blends completely into the environment, motionless and nearly impossible to recognize. That's a lioness, lying flat less than 5 meters from prey. On the plains, the most dangerous thing isn't the echoing roar, but the silence. Africa isn't where the strongest rule, but where the best hidden survive. Biological camouflage is the supreme weapon of assassins. Lions are large cats living in prides, but most hunting activity belongs to females, individuals who directly approach and bring down targets. Tawny fur is the result of natural selection, helping the body blend into grass, minimizing risk of detection before attack. When approaching prey, lionesses lower their bodies flat to grass level, moving extremely slowly, just enough not to create clear movement signals to prey. And they always approach against the wind, keeping body scent behind. This is technique accumulated through many hunts, not just simple reflex. Pack hunting turns them into perfect coordination machines. One group blocks ahead, one group chases, forcing prey to charge straight into ambush. Lionesses have been in position since before dawn. The zebra herd is very close, but doesn't detect them. The invisible encirclement has closed, waiting for the activation moment. An individual separates from the herd, stepping into the gap between two ambush positions. Yellow eyes track each footstep of prey. Claws press lightly into ground. Lions from behind accelerate, forcing prey to run in predetermined direction. Escape reflex actually leads it into more dangerous territory. Individuals ahead simultaneously lunge out, blocking direction and closing in. The entire sequence unfolds in seconds, ending an ambush prepared over many hours. The zebra herd scatters and retreats. Lionesses stop. Target achieved. On the plains, initial distance matters more than final speed. But lionesses aren't the only assassins. When evening descends, another predator begins activity. A solitary hunter even lions are wary of. Leopards are masters of camouflage. Spotted coat not only helps hide, but also breaks up body outline, making prey struggle to recognize shape. In complex lighting conditions, this mechanism allows predators to be present right before eyes without being detected in time. Operating mainly at dusk and night, it exploits darkness plus soft paw pads to move with almost no sound. And leopards can drag prey heavier than their body up trees, turning canopies into safe dining places beyond reach of other species. Unlike pride-living lions, leopards hunt alone. Solitude helps reduce sound and signs, maintaining absolute advantage of surprise. This evening, an antelope stands under a tree base, head lowered, grazing. Its reflex scans both sides but completely ignores overhead. On high branches, the leopard lies motionless, observing and calculating. Everything stops at a moment, waiting for prey to step exactly into approach range. The antelope doesn't realize at all. Above, the leopard lowers itself, claws grip tree bark. Muscles compress like springs, then release. The leopard lunges down. Front legs seize the antelope's neck. Jaws lock tight upon touching ground, making prey unable to react. In only a short time, the leopard drags prey up the tree and disappears into the canopy, erasing all traces on the ground. Lions disappear along the ground plane. Leopards disappear vertically, but both are still limited by the ground, while another danger exists where prey must approach. The Okavango region's largest river enters migration season. Thousands of wildebeest gather at the bank, hesitating before the calm water surface, where death hides invisibly. Nile crocodile, reaching 5 meters long, weighing 700 kilograms. Right now, almost absent. Only eyes and nose protruding, the rest blending into murky watercolor. Rough gray-brown skin, matching river mud, helps it hide completely. It lies motionless for hours, waiting for prey to step into attack range. Bite force over 3,500 pounds per square inch, strongest in the animal kingdom. And reaction speed occurs so fast, prey cannot respond. Thousands of wildebeest begin flooding into water surface churning chaotically. They must wade across, though knowing each step carries risk. Water surface suddenly explodes. Crocodile jaws clamp tight on the nearest wildebeest's hind leg, then drag prey, disappearing into the water in seconds of silence. Multiple attack points occur in short time, breaking formation. Pressure increases as individuals struggle to escape the water area. Individuals reaching shore stop to look back at the gradually stabilizing river surface, only stillness remaining, concealing death below. Three assassins, three different camouflage types. When placed in the same ecosystem, we see three completely separate strategies. Lionesses camouflage horizontally, blending into grass and using pack coordination to drive prey into kill zones. Leopards camouflage multidimensionally, exploiting tree canopies and patterns to erase body outlines, controlling both ground level and heights. Nile crocodiles camouflage absolutely, hiding underwater, patiently waiting for prey to step into range. Their common point, not relying on speed but on patience, camouflage, and ability to shorten distance until prey cannot react. But on the Okavango Savannah, the three assassins' territories often overlap. The same zebra herd can face all three in one day. Prey maintain continuous vigilance. Head down, eating for seconds, then raising to check. But when opponents have camouflaged, detection becomes uncertain. And that's precisely the survival paradox. Evolution enhances prey senses, while simultaneously optimizing predator concealment ability. Evening descends on Okavango. Zebras who survived the morning ambush are advancing toward the riverbank, slower, more vigilant, and no longer separating from the herd. They stop far from shore, a few lower to sniff grass, then immediately raise heads. Morning's lesson still imprinted in reflexes. The lead individual advances first, scanning river surface and both banks, checking even the dangerous upper layer before stepping forward, only then allowing the entire herd to advance. The zebra herd drinks in rotation rhythm, half with heads down, the other half observing. No longer moments when the entire herd loses vigilance. Below water, crocodiles have positioned, but distance is kept farther than usual, conditions insufficient for effective strikes. The herd leaves the bank immediately after drinking, not lingering. Quick decision helps reduce time exposed in risk zone. They stop to rest on high ground, standing in a circle, eyes facing all directions. New vigilance behavior formed after just one morning. In sparse forest, an African rock python lies motionless, coiled under a rotten tree trunk. Body pattern blends into tree bark, camouflage based on shape and color. Or a black mamba slides on tree branches, blending into dry branch color, so fast and silent only detected when already too close. And on the dry grassland surface, an African chameleon is changing color to match environment, continuously transforming to blend with surrounding background. On the African plains, every spatial layer has those hiding, all operating in silence. The zebra herd stands on high mound, choosing open place to rest at night. Long visibility, few concealment points, minimizing ambush risk. Evolution doesn't favor the noisy, but favors those controlling appearance timing. Right moment, close enough, and effective. but it also rewards memory. After morning's loss, the zebra herd is vigilant enough to survive the afternoon by the river, where crocodiles cannot strike. Night blankets Okavango in 3 spatial layers. Countless predators are lurking, and countless prey are moving in the same system, repeating a cycle existing very long. And the question each prey on the plains faces daily isn't, are there predators here? Because the answer is always yes. The real question, the life or death question, is much simpler. In grass, in trees, or below water, right now, where is it? Beneath the scorching heat of the African grassland, creatures that disappear through the dry season are gradually returning with the first rains. Hidden beneath the cracked, dry earth, a hunger lies dormant, waiting for life to return. No sharp claws, no overwhelming speed, but anything that fits in the mouth can become a meal. And when the ground begins to move, the grassland understands that a predator has awakened. Africa's monster, the creature that devours the grassland after rain. The grassland of southern Africa, in the middle of the dry season, earth cracked open in great patches, grass burned flat, and the last water source vanished many weeks ago. But deep beneath the dry surface, a creature still exists. Its body nearly shut down, metabolism drastically reduced to hold on to its last reserves of moisture. Through months without eating or drinking, heart beating slowly, waiting for the familiar signal that will wake the body back to life. The sky to the west begins to darken, black clouds rolling low and carrying a damp wind. Then the first drops of rain fall onto the dry earth and seep into the cracks. The rain grows heavier, softening the parched soil, water pooling in small patches across the cracked surface, carrying moisture and new vitality to the arid land. Then the earth stirs. A crack widens, mud bursts upward, and from below, a large head with amber eyes slowly rises after months of concealment. The African bullfrog has a body as dense as a mass of muscle sunk in mud, jaws occupying nearly half its head, lined with small spike-like teeth. Once prey has entered, there is no escape. A body not built for running, it only needs to lie still and wait for prey to come to it. And after months of starvation, the hunting instinct rises back with full force. Small insects crawl across the wet mud. Another bullfrog lies watching the ground, its body blending almost completely into the mud color. A millipede passes close. The bullfrog's mouth snaps open, tongue fires out, jaws close. From the moment the prey touches down to the moment it disappears takes half a second. 10 minutes. Dozens of insects have vanished. The frog makes use of the brief rainy days to rapidly recover the energy burned away through the entire dry season. But insects are only the appetizer. For them, anything that fits in the mouth is food. And around the newly formed water pools, larger prey gradually appears. A field mouse steps out from the wet grass, searching for seeds along the water's edge, nose down low, completely unaware that death is waiting just ahead. It takes one more step, then the mud explodes. The frog's mouth snaps open, swallowing the mouse whole, locking every struggle down with the sharp teeth lining its mouth. The eyeballs press downward to help push the prey deeper into the throat. The mouse disappears, hind legs kicking weakly, then going still. The belly swells, but the mouth is already ready for the next one. 2 weeks after the rain, the savanna is drying again. Insects and small reptiles are more active, and the bullfrog has left the water pool, sitting motionless like a lump of dry mud on the red earth. A small snake slides past, just 20 centimeters away, tongue flickering, head raised to probe the environment. It is still too small to recognize the danger directly in front of it. The snake glides across the frog's field of view. A strike launches upward, misses. Red earth flies up as the prey attacks and tries to find a way out. The second lunge lands true. Jaws lock onto the head, spiked teeth drive deep. The snake's body coils and tightens around the frog, but is pressed flat against the ground. The frog begins to swallow. The grassland returns to quiet. The frog, lying still under the warm sun, belly rounded and full, beginning the slow process of digestion after a series of heavy meals under the sunlight slowly returning. The rainy season brings not only food, but the opportunity to breed, when all activity must happen quickly before the last drop of water disappears. At the largest water pool in the area, dozens of males gather, throats swelling as deep calls roll across the savanna, drawing females and staking out control of the breeding center. The strongest male holds the central position where the water is deepest, while others ram, press, and bite each other to win the only chance to continue their lineage. When the female arrives, mating is quick. Eggs are fertilized immediately and cling to moss and grass, beginning a life cycle that must outrace the receding water. Tadpoles hatch, thousands of tiny bodies swimming frantically in the warming pool, eating algae and each other to grow, because their life cycle is shorter than the pool sustaining them. Many weeks pass, the harsh sun returns, the pool shrinks day by day from a wide pond to a small puddle. Tadpoles packed together in a life source that is steadily running out. And in the middle of the shrinking pool, the father frog stays. He looks at the mud ridge dividing two pools of water, then quietly uses his hind legs to break through the mud, channeling his young through to the water on the other side. After hours of digging mud, under the blazing sun, his strength is spent, skin dry, eyes half closed. Yet he has held on to the chance of life for thousands of tadpoles. A smaller frog enters the territory being guarded, but for the bullfrog, a smaller member of its own species can sometimes also become food. The lunge happens quickly and decisively. As the dry season turns back, the instinct to protect and the instinct to hunt exist within the same body. Tadpoles begin to grow legs, some metamorphosing into frogs in fewer than 3 weeks, fingernail-sized, leaving the muddy pool to step into the high-risk world above the waterline. But the moment they reach the bank, the young frogs face hunting birds, snakes around the water's edge, and other adult frogs, because when hungry, this species does not distinguish its own kind. Most do not survive the first week. Of thousands of eggs, only a few will still be alive by the following rainy season, but those that remain will grow into monsters like their father. The pool has dried completely. The last tadpoles have left, and the father frog gazes silently at the empty patch of earth, sitting at the edge of dry mud, sensing the heat of the dry season slowly returning. Then the old instinct wakes. It begins to dig, hind legs driving hard, body sinking gradually into the hardening mud, preparing for the next long sleep. Mud slowly covers the back, the head, then both eyes, leaving behind a water-retaining membrane that gradually encases the body like a survival cocoon for the dry months ahead. The earth cracks open again, grass burns flat under the scorching sun, the water pools vanish entirely, and deep below the dry ground, the bullfrog lies still with a slowing heart, waiting for the next rain. A young frog that survived the rainy season sits near the drying bank. No larger than a coin, it has just caught its first ant. Life starts here. If it survives the first dry season, it will burrow into a mud cocoon like its parents, then emerge after the rains, larger, stronger, with a mouth that grows wider with every hunting season. The hot wind sweeps across the savannah. The cracked, dry earth is completely silent, but deep below, hundreds of bullfrogs lie still inside their own water-retaining membranes. And that is how the African bullfrog survives. The most voracious predator on the savannah is also the one that buries itself in a sleep lasting many months, just to exchange it for a handful of opportunities. Field mice still search for seeds. Grass snakes still hunt, completely unaware that the danger sleeping beneath their feet needs only one rain to open its mouth. The rainy season will return, perhaps soon, perhaps late. But without needing to know the timing, it only needs to feel the first vibration when water touches the earth. The first raindrop will fall, the earth will soften, pools will form, insects will surge, and from beneath the cracks, amber eyes will open again, beginning a new hunting season. But for now, the grassland is still dry and hot, and deep beneath the dark earth, it still lies there, waiting. The ground trembles faintly. Not rain yet, only wind moving through the grass. But sooner or later, the water will return, and it will be here when that happens. Dawn over Africa, first light touches the river surface. Thin mist rises from the still water, covering the sandy bank like an ethereal veil. Along the riverbank, footprints in wet sand tell last night's story. Some came to drink and left. Some species disappeared, never to return. In the distance, a baboon troop approaches the riverbank, then stops on high ground, observing the water below, displaying vigilance mechanisms selected through evolutionary process. This river is both life source and boundary between life and death. For small creatures like the baboon troop, each approach is a survival decision. Baboons are among Africa's most intelligent and fierce primates. Gray-brown fur, elongated face, and good eyesight help maintain high vigilance. Their jaws are fearsome weapons, Canines can reach 8 centimeters long, bite force from 500 to 700 pounds per square inch, enough to tear enemy flesh in an instant. They live in troops from several dozen to over 100 individuals, with clear hierarchical social structure helping maintain order and reduce conflict within the group. Baboons are omnivores, consuming from plants to small animals. Flexible diet helps them adapt effectively to harsh conditions of prolonged dry season. Their notable feature is a sophisticated warning system. Different sounds correspond to each threat, from birds of prey above to predators in bushes. But with dangers underwater, warning signals become limited when forced to cross rivers. Survival pressure forces the troop to choose despite existing risks. The troop leader advances, observing the river surface. In the next few seconds, its choice will directly affect the entire troop's safety. Behind, the entire troop waits silently in tension. Mother baboons clutch their young tightly, as delaying too long can also increase attack risk. The water surface is still, flat, and suspiciously calm. In African river ecosystems, silence often conceals lurking potential dangers. A dark shadow over 4 meters long lies motionless beneath murky water. Only eyes and nose protrude, camouflaged effectively like drifting rotten logs. Nile crocodiles are top ambush predators, with morphology virtually unchanged for millions of years. Their pupils are extremely sensitive to movement. Third eyelid supports underwater observation, helping detect prey precisely within hunting range. Nile crocodile bite force exceeds 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush prey bones. Once jaws have closed, almost no force can make them open. As ambush predators, they can lie motionless for extended periods to conserve energy and only attack when opportunity reaches optimal level. The tactic is very simple but extremely effective. Wait for prey to approach, attack in less than 1 second, and drag underwater to drown. Baboons are well aware of danger, while crocodiles are ready to ambush. The encounter between vigilance and silent strength begins right at this river bend. Finally, the troop leader decides to descend into water, each step cautious. The entire troop immediately follows, maintaining tight formation in this life or death choice. Adult males go first, water rising to their bellies. Behind, females hold young tightly, maintaining high vigilance against sudden attack risk. When the troop reaches midstream, water level rises to adult chests. Young cling tightly to mothers to avoid being swept away. Tension reaches peak. Suddenly, the water surface behind erupts. A crocodile charges with terrifying speed. The baboon troop panics, signals warnings. Formation immediately shatters. Individuals in front rush quickly toward opposite bank, while the rear group turns back. Dispersal breaks troop cohesion, making hunting risk increase. In nature, Living in groups helps distribute risk. When separated, solitary individuals quickly become the clearest targets in dangerous environments. The crocodile locks target, not chasing the troop, but focusing on separated individual. This is common hunting tactic, prioritizing weak or slow-moving ones. Crocodile jaws close just centimeters from the baboon. Water splashes high. This individual escapes narrowly, rushing ashore at maximum speed thanks to survival reflexes. On both banks, baboons stand panting. The troop is divided by the deadly water. The first river crossing ends with luck, but not everyone made it to the other side. On the old bank, a mother baboon with young is trapped. She looks across to the other side, where most of the troop has safely gathered. Below the water surface, the crocodile has submerged, restoring initial calm. However, that silence is only concealing danger still lurking below. The mother baboon understands she cannot wait long. Lack of food and troop separation diminishes social standing. She must decide quickly to ensure survival chance. On the other side, the troop cannot wait, begins moving into areas with food. Distance gradually increases, forcing the mother baboon under pressure to act urgently. She descends into water. The young clings tightly to mother's back. Cold water gradually submerges the body. Each step is gambling with fate. Having advanced some distance, she steps slowly. The water surface ahead ripples lightly, then falls silent. Mother baboon is vigilant, eyes scanning along the current. From the right side, the crocodile suddenly lunges up without warning signs. At a speed impossible to react to, its jaws aim straight for the young on her back. Teeth sink deep into the young's leg. A piercing cry rings out. Mother baboon grabs her offspring, pulls back, creating a life-and-death tug-of-war in the water. On the bank, the baboon troop scatters. Warning cries ring out continuously, but no one dares enter the water, can only observe from safe distance. Mother baboon resists by instinct, continuously biting, clawing, and jerking. However, her bite force is significantly weaker than the crocodile's, making advantage tilt toward the predator. As the struggle drifts toward shore, the crocodile gradually loses advantage in shallow water. Seizing the rare opportunity, Mother baboon musters strength for one final jump. The young escapes the crocodile's jaws, but in an instant, the crocodile switches targets and locks jaws onto Mother baboon's leg. The young runs ashore, trembling with leg wound. Another baboon pulls it into the troop's center. It survives, but the price paid doesn't belong to it. Underwater, Mother baboon still resists, but the pulling force increasingly tilts toward the predator. Bit by bit, she's drawn away from shallow water. On the bank, cries thin out, then cease completely. The baboon troop helplessly watches, unable to intervene. The outcome is decided and no second miracle occurs. On the water surface, the last ripples vanish. The water continues flowing, reflecting natural law that won't stop operating for losses. The baboon troop leaves the riverbank, quickly reestablishes formation, with the wounded young walking in the troop's center. Life continues despite carrying irreplaceable loss. The young is still too small. It doesn't fully understand what just happened, but survival instinct has deeply carved a life-and-death experience. In nature, victory sometimes is simply being alive. No heroes or villains, only existence continuing in life cycle. Below the river, the crocodile returns to familiar ambush position. It can fast for many weeks, but still patiently waits for prey. Persistence is its key survival weapon. Life by the water always exists in fragile balance, where action and waiting alternate, creating an endless cycle. In the distance, the baboon troop has found an area with food and gradually restores daily behaviors. But the formation is now missing one member. The young with leg wounds sits beside another female. It will grow up, will learn to survive, and someday will have to face this river once again. In the silence of the African plains, each species holds a role in nature's endless cycle. Life and death aren't opposites, but two parts of the same flow. Early sun covers the grassland. A male lion lies gasping on the verge of death. From where it lies, a long drag mark is imprinted, as if that body was just hauled some distance. Not far away are dense elephant footprints, each as wide as a serving platter. Strangely, only the lion's tracks lead toward the elephant herd, no other prints visible anywhere. Truth is, a male lion dying after recklessly confronting giants isn't uncommon. What kills them usually isn't weakness, but misjudging their own stature. And it all began yesterday afternoon, when the ill-fated one was still roaming alone. Instead of being wary, it fixed a provocative gaze on the massive elephant herd in the distance. Since leaving its pride, it had consecutively brought down slow-aging prey. Once it even brazenly seized a carcass right under a solitary hyena's muzzle. With each prey that fell, the illusion of its own strength added another layer. It forgot it was only a growing creature, mistakenly believing itself already master of this land. Before it, the elephant herd slowly crossed by, young ones nestled, crowded in the middle. A seasoned hunter would have moved away, but not this one, eyes locked on the smallest calf. Then it walked straight toward the elephant herd like a solitary figure marching into an army. Steps steady, eyes glued to the young one, it ignored the massive mother elephant standing right beside. Lion launched toward the young elephant, standing isolated at the edge. Mother elephant immediately spun around, but it didn't retreat at all, stubbornly holding its ground with blind confidence. Mother elephant pivoted, one pillar-thick foot came straight down onto the lion's back. Tons of weight crushing down made its body sink deep into earth, spine-shattering vertebra by vertebra. Done, the elephant herd calmly stepped onward, leaving the carcass behind without bothering to look back. Sometimes self-delusion is precisely what sends an animal to its grave fastest. But power delusion is only the first dark corner of animal psychology. Not far away, Two cheetahs of the same bloodline and age carry completely opposite fates. The first named Coco, wearing gleaming sleek fur, belly round and full after a hunt. It chews slowly, gaze calm, because no fear has ever accompanied its meals. Complete opposite is Ghost, gaunt to the bone, rough coat, also just brought down prey. Yet it can't eat in peace. Every time it lowers its head, it immediately snaps back up, eyes darting everywhere. Just then, afternoon wind carried a string of hoarse laughter from afar. That hyena pack had not at all spotted the two cheetahs or scented the meat. They were only calling each other out there. Coco only flicked an ear briefly, then lowered back to chewing, unconcerned by distant sounds. But Ghost, hearing exactly that sound, had already sprung up, abandoning the entire meal, eyes flooded with fear. Without hesitation, Ghost bolted away, leaving the prey it just brought down lying on the grass. It went a full kilometer away, though the hyenas were in the opposite direction, not approaching at all. Right as it fled, muscles tensed on Ghost's shoulder, old wounds clearly visible. Those are traces of a terrifying prey theft from the previous year, imprinting obsession into its mind. This was the third time this season it abandoned a meal because of vague sounds. Hunts well, but rarely gets to eat full, because every meal for it hovers with lurking danger. Sure enough, a lone hyena sauntered over, leisurely consuming the portion Ghost left behind. It was more than capable of chasing that one off, but wasn't foolish enough to trade its life for one bite. Eating its fill, Coco rolled over, sleeping soundly under the afternoon light lingering on the grass, while Ghost lay hollow-bellied, curled far away, bitterly watching the hyena take the final bite. Same bloodline, equal in build, yet fate split in two by one single obsession. Just as the entire land sank into stillness, the east suddenly rang out with a long, mournful howl. That was a wild dog's howl, but not the signal calling the pack to hunt. Only the sound of one solitary one, weakening with each beat, the sound of one seeking its pack while no one answers. That young hunter stood stranded amid tall grass, ears raised, eyes sweeping around in panic. Just because it lingered a few minutes when the pack crossed the thicket, it had lost track of the entire family. Being a species almost entirely dependent on pack, wild dogs fear solitude greatly. The moment separated from kindred, its mind falls apart, unable to maintain clarity. So it bolted off in all directions, swerving one way, then cutting another without finding anyone. Those chaotic running circles didn't bring it back to the pack, only widened the distance. Calls grew fainter with the panicked creature's broken breathing. Ironically, on bare open grassland, those who heard it clearest were hunters rather than its own kind. Hearing those sounds, a lioness lying nearby immediately pricked ears. In her eyes, the young dog, stranded without pack protection, was no different from a meal delivering itself. It little knew every rescue call was inadvertently inviting death closer. In the western grass patch, a pale yellow shadow silently parted grass, advancing, smooth and utterly deadly. When the predator revealed itself fully, instead of bolting, it should have, young dog stood rooted. Extreme panic paralyzed its reflexes, turning it into a motionless statue. Hunter launched decisively. Everything ended in just one instant. young one's life extinguished right on the grassland, only a few hundred meters from its own pack. As sun paled, the wild dog pack tracked signs, finding where the young one fell. After nuzzling the last fading warmth, they raised heads, howling a farewell. Farewell song not yet faded, earth beneath the dog pack's feet began trembling and rumbling. Not the footfall of elephants or lions, but seismic force from countless hooves. The entire northern horizon darkened to murky, seeming like clouds, yet being countless animal bodies. That was the great wildebeest migration flooding southward. Each year, over 2 million follow reins, wandering for new grassland. Blocking that journey is the Mara River, with its steep banks and lurking crocodiles. One leading individual stopped startled right at the steep bank, hesitating before a fierce current. Behind, the million following had no idea, kept pushing forward relentlessly, pressing them toward the edge. Weight from behind kept surging. Those at front didn't plunge in of their own will. They were shoved by kindred, while those doing the shoving were themselves pushed by the layer behind, impossible to hold back. One by one, they tumbled headlong off the rock bank, plunging headfirst 2 meters into the water. Then a second, third, then an entire long chain poured in one after another because those behind wouldn't stop. Momentarily, layer upon layer of animal bodies crashed down, tier stacking on tier. Those below suffocated under weight. Those just surfacing were immediately pushed under by the next arrival, river section resounding with bellowing. Below, the crocodile pack barely needed to expend effort hunting. Prey kept tumbling off the cliff face above, offering themselves right into gaping jaws, waiting ready. Cruelly ironic, right nearby was a gentle sloping bank leading gradually down to water. That spot was completely deserted, not one breaking from the flow to go there, because the frenzy had swept everything away. Entire herd reaching the riverbed struggled climbing up the other side, but that was also a steep reverse slope. Hemmed in between two sheer cliff faces, they trampled over kindred, finding no way out. Only much later did the migration flow thin out, last one splashing across, then reaching the far bank. The cruel truth was, most deaths today came from crushing and trampling, not at all from the reptiles below. Despite the stretch of river left in chaos behind, surviving animals continued south. Behind, another million creatures were advancing, the next day again converging on the same old cliff edge. Evening descends, Mara River flows slow, well-fed crocodiles lie savoring. On the bank, vultures pick at portions, waves washed in, water quietly carries surplus downriver. On the cliff face, morning's hoof-mark gouges still hold their impressions. Water below has settled crystal clear, yet to the north, dust clouds already billow, signaling a new wave of migration. At the gentler bank nearby, zebra herd leisurely lowers heads beside calm water. No one would guess this spot just this midday was still thundering hooves and bellowing wildebeest. But right beneath that clear water, a just satiated crocodile's eyes still quietly watch upward. It lies motionless, pressed near the water surface, gaze never leaving the muzzles dipping low. Before the burrow entrance, the puppies lie together. But behind that peaceful appearance are empty bellies and hunger growing larger by the hour. As the East African plain's smallest hunter, Black-backed jackal lives in the gaps where lions, hyenas, or leopards always claim the decisive share. On the wide grassland, mother jackal leaves den, gliding light as a low shadow. She reads wind, traces signs, seeking the only thing that can save her pups, fresh meat. Weighing less than 15 kilograms, she's smaller than every hunter around her. But she cannot afford mistakes, because just one failure could end an entire generation. Few hundred meters away, mother warthog leads piglets digging roots on soft ground. Tiny young ones toddle around mother's legs, taking life's first steps. No hunter foolishly lunges at angry mother warthog with sharp tusks. But piglets less than a week old remain weakness that cannot be hidden. While foraging, she suddenly freezes. Head snaps up. Open grassland shows nothing suspicious, but uneasy instinct has made her whole body tense. Piglets still carefree foraging. They don't know in distant grass. A black back is slipping through grass, advancing, not hiding itself, but deliberately allowing detection. She advances close enough for scent to reach mother warthog's snout, and reaction as predicted. Mother warthog notices. Body stands firm, tusks open in defensive stance. Jackal advances just slow enough to always stay in mother warthog's sight. No reaction, no attack, only keeping prey's gaze locked forward. Mother warthog has fully turned back toward piglets. All attention focused on opponent ahead. Breathing becomes more rapid. Behind, grass stirs slightly in rhythm, not belonging to wind. Two black shadows leap from behind, swift and precise, as if rehearsed 1,000 times. Before piglets can cry out, each jaw has snatched one prey, then vanished into grass seeds. Mother warthog spins around, seeing piglets diminished. Tiny cries, completely swallowed in tall grass. She chases few steps, then freezes. Jackal scent has dispersed in all directions. She returns to flattened grass trace where piglets were just stolen. Snout touches still damp earth, moves around briefly. Search has ended before it could begin. Before burrow entrance, jackal pups fight over meat mother just brought back. Hungry whimpers turn into hurried chewing, adding bit of life force to young bodies. But that's not enough to feed entire growing litter. Mother jackal looks at still hollow bellies, then turns back toward grassland, leaving behind unfinished cries for food. Entire pack heads west again, where mother warthog still remains. They hunt not to stockpile, but because pups in den still wait for more food. By now, mother warthog has hidden remaining piglets in dense grass clump. Little ones nestle nursing. She lies beside, trying to regain strength after hours of tension. Grassland gradually settles. Wind only carries dry grass scent and hot earth. No more signs of predators that just appeared earlier. Then grass ahead stirs slightly off wind's rhythm. Behind also stirs in same pattern. Mother warthog jumps up, recognizing encirclement has closed around her. Jackal pack doesn't charge in again. After first success, they've learned hardest thing to overcome isn't mother warthog's tusks, but her position beside piglets. One steps out from low grass, then stands blocking ahead. It doesn't circle away like previous times, but deliberately holds position in Mother Warthog's sight. Mother Warthog immediately charges forward. For her, driving predator away from piglets always safer than waiting for danger to approach. Jackal flees, not too fast for Mother Warthog to give up, nor too slow to be caught. It maintains exact distance that hunting instinct cannot easily ignore. Mother Warthog accelerates. Each time seemingly about to touch, Jackal edges few more meters away. Chase continues across increasingly wider grass spans. Then she suddenly freezes. Where are the piglets? Grass clump where they hid now only has young warthogs running. Jackal still continues running ahead, but this time, Mother Warthog no longer chases. Sudden unease grips her mind tightly. She turns, charging back, and right then, from distance rings out piercing shriek of one piglet, then second sounds. Cries continue rising, then fading, one after another. Distance just stretched now becomes something Mother Warthog cannot overcome. She sprints full speed across grassland. Dust kicks up after each stride, but each time, she always arrives one beat slower than Jackal Pack. Returning to shelter, only one remains huddled under Mother's belly. Around it, flattened grass trails spread every direction like traces of just completed plunder. Only now does Mother Warthog understand Jackal Pack's tactics. They never intended to bring her down, only lured her away, letting distance itself finish off each piglet. But hunt isn't over yet. Remaining piglet suddenly loses composure, bolts from grass clump, charging straight into open ground ahead. One jackal immediately chases, each stride shortening distance. Young one too small and too slow, while Mother Warthog too far to save in time. Jaws only handspan from small tail. Everything seems settled. Then from behind, heavy snort tears through air. Mother Warthog charges like furious mass of flesh, pouring last remaining strength into the gore. Tusks hurl nearest jackal flying. Entire pack startle scattering. Hunter suddenly becomes the struck. Lead male freezes watching Mother Warthog spin within encirclement without retreating. Her eyes no longer fearful, only ferocity of one with nothing left to lose. Piglet runs back, hastily burrows into Mother's belly. Mother Warthog points tusks, slowly turns body shielding, making Jackal Pack standing distant, not dare risk further. Finally, Jackal Pack turns, leaving, this time for real. They run toward the den, each carrying one portion, bringing back to waiting pups. Before burrow entrance, jackal pups again rush out competing for food, bellies gradually filling. Mother jackal lies beside, breathing tired, long hunt traded for entire litter's fullness. While west, Mother Warthog leads final piglet away from grass field. Morning's crowded litter now only one small shadow staying close at her feet. Two families leave grassland in two directions. One side carries food, other side carries what remains of litter. Black-backed jackals aren't as strong as lions or hyenas. They survive through coordination, patience, and ability to turn small opportunities into large advantages. While warthogs endure through stamina and ferocity. When pushed to limit, even one mother can turn entire hunt around. These are two very different strategies, but both honed by same pressure: survival on East African plains. Here, hunters and prey continuously shape each other. Each successful tactic forces the other side to adapt better. Therefore, no species keeps advantage forever. Each surviving day is just one small win in game lasting across many generations. And when dawn returns, that race will continue. On this grassland, life belongs to those adapted enough to keep walking. Across the African savanna, a network of cool tunnels hides beneath the dry, cracked earth, a fortress in the scorching land above. But on this land, a burrow truly belongs only to the one strong enough to defend it. All that digging can be taken away in a moment. Midday heat pours down across the grassland. A ground squirrel family has spent many weeks constructing their home. A dry grass nest deep inside a dark tunnel, a refuge from the savanna's brutal temperatures. The mother squirrel leaves the burrow to forage, leaving her young behind inside, trusting the earthen walls that have sheltered them through their earliest weeks of life. At that same moment, a visitor is moving toward the squirrel's burrow. It builds no home, does no repairs. It only goes looking for doors already left open. That is the black mamba, the fastest snake in Africa, carrying within it venom enough to bring down any prey. For it, an unguarded burrow is an invitation difficult to refuse. The glossy dark body threads through the narrow entrance. The sound of scales against the earthen walls is like wind passing through the tunnel. At the bottom of the burrow, 3 squirrel pups are still fast asleep. The mamba moves into the innermost chamber of the tunnel. Its tongue sweeps continuously through the air, reading each remaining breath left in the thick darkness. One by one, the small sounds inside the tunnel go quiet. When the mamba leaves the final chamber, silence has settled in, welcoming the new owner of the home. When the mother squirrel returns, she stops short at the burrow entrance, the mamba's scent covering the opening like an invisible warning sign that this place is no longer hers. She takes a few steps forward, then freezes. From beneath the earth, not one call from her young answers back. Only an unfamiliar emptiness she has never encountered here before. The mother squirrel turns and walks away. No battle takes place. For her, the door to the home had already closed long before she could return. Now that termite mound belongs to the mamba, a home it never spent effort to build. But elsewhere, there are those who take homes without needing a single drop of venom. Deep in the oak forests of Europe, beneath a tangle of roots, a home lies concealed in the earth. Many chambers, many passages, more solidly built than any animal burrow on the continent. Its owner is a European badger, a creature of almost unbelievable cleanliness. It changes its bedding material every few days and keeps a dedicated latrine chamber, well separated from where it sleeps. Every stroke of digging, every change of bedding is a lifetime of the badger's devotion poured into this place. For it, that clean home is not merely shelter, it is a source of pride. But someone has had an eye on that home for a long time. The red fox, cunning but averse to digging. It covets the burrow while having no desire to dig a single stroke itself. The fox is not foolish enough to confront directly. It knows that inside the narrow tunnel, the badger is always the stronger one. So it chooses a far more silent weapon. It moves quietly to the burrow entrance and leaves its urine right at the threshold. Then threads deeper inside, silently marking every wall of earth it passes. The badger returns and stops just inside the entrance. An unfamiliar smell hits it directly. A scent that should never exist inside the home of a species that prizes cleanliness. It steps in, then steps back, steps in again, then back again. That smell has soaked into every wall of earth. Finally, the badger turns away, leaving behind the place it once called home. Across an entire ocean, on the North American prairie, a town lies just beneath the surface of the earth. Hundreds of connected burrows belonging to families of black-tailed prairie dogs. Every morning, they take turns standing guard, calling to each other in sharp cries whenever danger appears. They live closely together and are rarely caught off guard. Among that bustling community, a peculiar resident can sometimes be spotted: the burrowing owl. The only owl in the world that lives underground rather than perching in the trees. The burrow the owl wants belongs to a stubborn male prairie dog who has poured enormous effort into building his home and guards the entrance all day, refusing to leave. The owl cannot drive the prairie dog away by force, but it has a weapon that few species would think to expect. It quietly presses itself into an empty burrow nearby. And from inside that burrow, a dry rasping sound begins to rise. That hiss stretches long and unsettling, identical to a rattlesnake coiling and preparing to strike. The prairie dog jolts and launches out of the burrow entrance. Underground, nothing is more terrifying than the sound of a rattlesnake. It has no idea that the one threatening it is only a small bird. When the ground goes still, the owl steps into the burrow just vacated. It stands before the room still warm from its previous owner, then slowly settles into its new home. But not every home taker waits for the owner to leave on their own. There are those who arrive while a home stands empty, and when the owner returns, what has been lost is more than just shelter. The house sparrow lives among a vast number of other bird species. It turns up everywhere, so ordinary that few would guess it is one of the most skilled nest takers around. When spring comes, a pair of swallows diligently carry pellets of mud to build their nest. Hundreds of flights across many days, all to raise a home for the brood about to be born. One afternoon, the mother swallow leaves the nest to forage, the eggs lying on a bed of feathers. She has no idea this is the last time she will see them intact. Then a brown shape lands quietly at the nest's edge. The sparrow looks down at the clutch of eggs, then calmly pecks each one and carries it away from the nest, taking with it an entire season of the swallow's hope. The mother swallow returns too late. The young she never got to meet are already gone, and the stranger is near the nest entrance, keeping her from diving in. The bird that built that home can now only circle in helpless loops, calling out into empty air, but nothing answers back anymore. Finally, the pair of swallows fly away without once looking back. The nest they built with 1,000 wing beats now cradles eggs that are not their own. After homes stolen, abandoned, and changed hands, there is still one place unlike the rest. A home whose owner has devoted an entire life to building, yet never claimed it as theirs alone. In the longleaf pine forest, on sandy soil in the southeastern United States, a round burrow mouth opens at the base of a tree. Its owner is the gopher tortoise, the most persistent burrower in this land. With its broad front feet shaped like shovels, it works tirelessly downward into the earth. The deeper it goes, the cooler the air, beyond the reach of the heat and cold above. Before long, the first visitors begin to arrive. Season after season, countless creatures come to find shelter in the darkness below. At times, a snake coils just a few handspans from a frog. Out in the light, they are hunter and prey. But down here, every chase is put on hold. The gopher tortoise knows exactly who is sheltering around it, and yet it drives no one away, only moves quietly through the old tunnels, as though the home was always wide enough for everyone. Then one day, a wildfire sweeps through. Thick smoke envelops the pine trunks above. But deep underground, the burrow holds its cool shadow, sheltering the creatures pressed together inside. When the fire has passed, one animal after another climbs out into the ash. Last of all, the old tortoise steps out unhurried, gazing quietly at the forest, waiting to turn green again. Those who came before took their dwelling from someone else. The gopher tortoise did not. The home it lives in is something it made entirely on its own. In the longleaf pine forest on sand, that burrow stands through season after season of fire. Many generations of occupants have come and gone, but the home itself has never once disappeared. Perhaps in nature, the most enduring shelter is not held by the one who guards it most fiercely, but by the one willing to open it to all. Under the early morning sun, the grassland ripples in waves. Among a cluster of flowers by a stream, a bee lands to drink nectar without noticing that the flower beside it has just turned its head. A flattened, glittering body with forelegs, spread like open petals, gives the orchid mantis perfect camouflage, its gaze continuously tracking the bee's every movement. When the bee lands on the flower right beside it, less than 2 centimeters away, the forelegs folded tight to the chest part slightly, the compound eyes rotate 180 degrees and lock precisely onto the prey's position. The moment the bee bows its head to drink nectar, those forelegs snap out in an instant, the sharp spines closing around the body. The bee's wings beat frantically a few times, then go still. The mantis brings the prey to its mouth, small jaws grinding through the chitin shell until only the thin wings remain, slowly falling down through the grass. a clean end to the first hunt of the day. After eating, it cleans its forelegs with its mouth, then sways gently with the leaf rhythm, blending back into the vegetation. Compound eyes still catching the rhythm of every movement on the surrounding branches. A few meters away, a small lizard crawls along a tree trunk without noticing that above it, the predator has already begun tracking its every step. In the midday sun, a green leaf mantis, roughly half the lizard size, sways its body like a real leaf, quietly sending movement signals to draw prey closer. The distance narrows to just 3 centimeters. The lizard finally notices the strange movement ahead. It freezes, studies the opponent carefully, then slowly lowers its head. The tongue is about to fire, but before the lizard can act, the mantis has already struck first. The folding forelegs snap down over the head before the tongue can retract. The lizard thrashes violently, but the grip locked around its head prevents any effective counterattack. Repeated bites begin targeting the soft tissue around the edges of the mouth. Channeling every remaining ounce of strength, the lizard wrenches hard and flings the mantis off the branch, breaking one of its hind legs. But the opening lasts only a moment. The mantis lunges again. The second lock is more decisive. Having fully subdued the prey, the mantis begins using its jaws to chew through the body, piece by piece, methodically consuming the opponent. The previous hunts all had a stable foothold, but this time, the mantis must hold its prey in midair, where a hummingbird hovers with wing beats at 70 times per second. In a tropical garden covered in red and violet blooms, a tiny body hovers before a nectar feeder, wings blurring into a haze in the sunlight. On the leaf, the green shadow has remained motionless for many hours. It lost one leg in this morning's hunt, but the front legs are still intact and folded tight against its chest, waiting. The hummingbird moves closer, its hum vibrating softly in the air. It dips its beak into the flower's center, into the nectar, just under 1 centimeter from the already parting forelegs. The moment it tastes the sweetness, the forelegs snap closed around the bird's neck, spines driving through thin feathers, sending the animal into a panic that pulls both off their position and into a spin through open air. Both fall into the shrubs below, where the final struggle ends. The mantis pins the prey down, pulling away small pieces through the thin feather layer. 2 hours later, only a few traces remain on the leaves. The wind will carry the last fragments away. The mantis will clean its forelegs, and it will turn toward the next prey. The previous prey were all smaller or comparable in size. But this time, the opponent is far longer, has sharp fangs, and attacks first, pushing the mantis into a reactive position. In low tropical shrubs under harsh sunlight, a green vine snake glides across a branch, tongue flickering for scent, but the smell of leaves masks the ambushed predator above. The snake stops beneath the branch, raises its head to probe the area, then detects movement. It lunges upward and bites one of the mantis's legs, opening a counterattack. The mantis bites back at the snake, but the snake's skin is too tough, so the mantis drops its prey onto a dry branch and escapes, leaving the mantis standing motionless on the tree. But the greatest danger does not come from prey. It comes from its own kind. The breeding season forces the male to approach a female much larger than itself, carrying those lethal hunting forelegs. The female mantis stands on a high branch, abdomen swelling with eggs. Below, a male half her size advances slowly from behind to stay out of her dangerous reach. Each step forward is broken by pauses to observe which direction the female's head is turned. The moment her head turns back, the male immediately freezes, is blending into the branch. 10 minutes pass. The male is now pressed close behind. He waits for the female to lower her head to feed, then immediately climbs onto her back, mating beginning amid the risk of being torn apart. A few minutes later, the female's head suddenly swings back. The hunting forelegs snap shut in an instant, closing down over the head of the mate trying to escape. The male wrenches hard trying to break free, but the size disadvantage leaves him unable to move. The female begins consuming the head, while the lower body continues its reflex mating motions by instinct. Half an hour later, the remaining body parts will become the final protein source nourishing the growing eggs, turning the mate into a meal before laying begins. Among the branches, the female folds her forelegs close to her chest, abdomen swelling steadily with developing eggs. In the days ahead, she will find a suitable dry branch, wrap the next generation into an egg case, and leave. The Eutheca slowly hardens under the sun, becoming a shield against weather and danger. But the body that formed it will not live long enough to see the day the eggs hatch. Many weeks later, her movements slow. A column of ants approaches the mother mantis. A body that survived countless hunts, finally brought still beneath an army. Above on the branch, the egg case still clings in place. Inside, hundreds of eggs are growing, protected by the last shield the mother left behind. A few weeks later, the foam casing splits open. Hundreds of mantis nymphs clamber over each other and emerge at once, hunting forelegs already folded and the first hunger already rising. And the first meal is not aphids, it is their own siblings. The faster ones immediately lock onto the necks of those beside them, opening a wave of cannibalism from the very first minute. Of the hundreds that emerge at once, numbers drop sharply within the first hour. The survivors scatter in every direction, leaving behind the first battlefield of their lives. But the grassland is also full of danger. Birds, lizards, and spiders continuously hunt every small movement, keeping the survival chain in constant reversal and swallowing the weak. Fewer than 1 in 10 survive the first week, but each survivor has already passed its first molt, body harder, longer, with forelegs beginning to resemble the mother's. On the old branch, the egg case is now empty, the shell slowly weathering in sun and wind. Below the tree, ants have cleaned away every trace, as though nothing ever existed. On the branch beside it, a nymph that has molted twice stands motionless, forelegs folded close to its chest, body swaying with the wind, compound eyes sweeping the leaf surface below. Compound eyes reflecting the late day sun, forelegs folded against the chest, motionless, silent, waiting, as every generation before it has done. The dry season arrives. The Serengeti grassland falls silent in a different way, not empty, but the kind of silence before something great begins. Hundreds of thousands of zebras are moving southward. This is the greatest migration on Earth, and not one of them is allowed to stop. Among the herd, calves just a few weeks old move along. Their striped coats still soft, their legs still unsteady. They do not yet know they are on their way to their first test. Ahead lies the Mara River, the natural boundary that every animal in the herd must cross. There is no other path. There is no second option. The zebra is Africa's largest seasonal migrant, traveling thousands of kilometers each year in search of new, nutrient-rich grasslands. A foal must stand within 30 minutes of being born, not a miracle. It is the bare minimum required to survive in this ecosystem. It stays close to its mother with every step, a behavior known as shadowing. For the foal, its mother is not just protection, but direction, the entirety of its world. But it has never crossed a river, never faced rushing water, never felt the pull of an invisible current. What lies ahead is a completely new experience. The zebra herd halts at the riverbank. Thousands of individuals stand still. A rare moment in nature when the fastest running species hesitates before a body of water. The Mara River is not wide, but width is not the danger here. The danger lies beneath the surface of the murky red-brown water surging past. Below the surface, Nile crocodiles have been waiting since before the zebra herd arrived. They do not rely on speed, they rely on patience. A fully grown adult can weigh between 500 and 750 kilograms. Its bite force reaches up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, enough to drag an adult zebra underwater in just a few seconds. In the murky water, the Nile crocodile is nearly invisible. This is not merely hiding. It is a perfect attack design refined over hundreds of millions of years of evolution. The Mara River's current this season reaches 3 to 5 meters per second, enough to sweep away any foal that loses its footing, even without a predator present. The riverbed is covered in slippery rocks. One misplaced step is all it takes. The current and the rocky bottom are the first threats the foal must face before the crocodiles. The lead animal steps into the water. Thousands follow, not out of courage, but because the pressure of the herd leaves no other choice. The foal hesitates at the water's edge. The cold water touches its front hooves, a completely new sensation. No memory exists to make it feel familiar. The mother zebra turns her head back, the clearest signal of all. Follow me. The foal steps in, not because it understands the danger, but because it cannot stay behind alone. The water rises to its belly. All 4 legs lose stability on the slippery rocks. The running reflex is triggered, but in water, speed no longer means anything. The foal begins to swim by reflex. Its muscles are not yet strong enough to fight the Mara River's current. Every second that passes, a portion of its energy is swept away. On this bank, hyenas are watching, and they are waiting. The smartest player in any hunt is not always the one who strikes first. The current pushes the foal 2 meters away from its mother. In ordinary circumstances, that distance means nothing. But here, 2 meters is the boundary between safety and danger. Beneath the surface, a crocodile, more than 4 meters long, begins to adjust its angle. No rush, no sound. It is calculating the approach angle and the right moment. The foal falls into a panic, the most dangerous mistake possible in water. Panic disrupts the swimming rhythm, drains energy, and pulls the body deeper beneath the surface. The mother senses it and turns back, breaking from the flow of the moving herd. Turning back means accepting a higher risk, going against the rules of survival. Underwater, a crocodile attacks the nearest adult, not the foal. It is a feint, creating chaos, to isolate the real target. A burst of water explodes. The zebra herd breaks formation, scattering in multiple directions. The foal loses its bearings. Its mother is no longer visible, only water and the sound of chaos. Instinct takes over. No more thinking. Only reflex remains. And in those few brief seconds, everything is decided. The crocodile disappears back into the current after its strike. Not visible does not mean safe. In the Mara River, the most dangerous things are usually the ones that cannot be seen. Finally, the foal reaches a narrow strip of land in the middle of the river. It climbs up, gasping, all 4 legs trembling, but it is still standing. The mother has already reached the far bank. She calls out, the distinctive recognition call of the zebra. Amid the chaos, that is the only signal the foal needs. The second time it steps into the water, the foal no longer hesitates. Its mother's call has overridden the fear, an evolutionary mechanism that prioritizes connection over panic. The second half of the river holds no crocodiles. They have concentrated around the main herd. The foal does not know this. It swims in fear, and that very fear drives it to move faster. The far bank comes into view. It climbs up using every last bit of energy. No technique, no control, only the survival instinct. The mother stands still and waits. She does not move closer. In the language of zebras, standing still is an affirmation. I am here. You must come to me. The foal trembles, coat soaked through, breathing rapid. But it is standing beside its mother, on ground that just minutes before seemed completely out of reach. Not far away, another foal is not so fortunate. Separated from the herd early, it loses its bearings, swept downstream by the current. Its mother cannot find it again. Nature does not distinguish between right and wrong. Only different positions and different moments produce different outcomes. 1 meter in the wrong place is enough to change everything. The crocodile pulls its prey to the bottom, a behavior known as the death roll. No drama, no drawn-out struggle, only a mechanism, executed exactly as it was designed. The rest of the zebra herd continues up the bank. No stopping, no looking back. In herd survival, stopping means increasing the risk for all. The foal stands on this bank and looks back at the river. Its brain cannot process memories the way a human's does. But its body will remember, in the way that biology remembers. Instinct is not rewritten by thought, but by experience. Today's fear becomes tomorrow's reflex. That is how nature evolves every living creature. The foal will cross the Mara River many more times in its life. Each time, it steps in faster, more precisely. Survival is a skill learned through fear. In nature, there is no such thing as a safe childhood. To be born is to begin a series of trials. Instinct is not perfect. It must be sharpened through risk and fear. Across the Serengeti grassland, that cycle will continue, season after season, generation after generation. And the Mara River will remain, waiting for each new foal to step into the first test of its life.